Most people blame themselves for a messy caulk line when the tool is doing most of the damage. A manual gun dispenses in little pulses, one squeeze at a time, so the bead comes out thick, then thin, then thick again, and by the third window, your hand is finished. An electric gun replaces that with a motor, a gearbox, and a plunger that advances at a constant adjustable speed, which is why the line looks like a machine drew it. The number that decides everything here is push force, measured in pounds. Soft latex and standard silicone flow happily at 300, while cold polyurethane construction adhesive laughs at anything under 500. I've lined up the 7 best cordless models on the market, from a featherweight finish tool to an 18-volt monster that could probably extrude concrete. All the links are down in the description. Let's dive in. The CCG N100P opens things up, and it's the one-eyed hand to someone who has never touched a powered caulk gun in their life. 21 volts of motor push around 660 pounds through the plunger with 4 speed settings that top out at 220 millimeters per minute, so you can crawl along a shower joint or fly down a baseboard run. The tool body weighs about 2 pounds, which sounds minor until you're reaching over your head for the 20th minute. What really sets it apart is the trigger lock button. Almost every professional gun in this list demands constant finger pressure, and holding that for a full afternoon adds up. Click the lock and the motor keeps feeding on its own, so your whole attention goes to holding the nozzle at that 45-degree angle instead of managing your index finger. The kit is generous too, with 2 batteries so one is always charging, an LED for the cave under the kitchen sink, and 9 scrapers and finishing tools. The battery platform is its own proprietary system rather than a big brand one, so it lives in its own little world, but with 2 packs in the box that's rarely an issue for weekend work. Now, if your garage already has a shelf of yellow and black batteries, the conversation changes completely. The DeWalt DCE 560B runs on the 20-volt max platform, and it's a genuine job site animal. The variable speed trigger is beautifully sensitive, letting you feather a bead down to a trickle, and a dial sets your maximum flow so you never accidentally dump material. The cartridge frame rotates a full 360 degrees, which means you can chase a bead into a tight inside corner without twisting your wrist into a pretzel. Here's the scenario where this thing earns its keep. It's January, you're gluing down subfloor sheets, the adhesive tubes have been sitting in an unheated truck all night, and the material has the consistency of cold peanut butter. A manual gun is basically decorative at that point. This one just pushes. It's sold as a bare tool, so budget for a battery if you don't have one, and the tool is chunky enough that overhead work gets tiring, but the modular tray system is the real hidden gem. Swap the standard tray for the sausage pack tray and you're running 600 milliliter foil packs, which cost less per ounce and leave a crumpled disc of foil instead of a rigid plastic tube. The Craftsman CMCE 600B is where value gets genuinely interesting. 550 pounds of push force sits comfortably in premium territory, yet the tool lands in the budget end of the pricing spectrum as a bare unit on the V20 platform. It carries the same 360-degree rotating cradle and a snappy anti-drip retract, but the feature I love is the seal puncture rod built into the frame. Every caulk gun owner has stood on a ladder, cut a nozzle, squeezed, and gotten nothing, because that foil seal inside the cartridge is still intact. With this one, you flip out the rod, punch through, and carry on. At 4.7 pounds, it's no featherweight, and even on the lowest setting, the flow moves quickly, so dial it all the way down before your first pull and work your way up. It's the sweet spot for anyone doing whole house work without a commercial budget. Which brings me to the one that surprised me most. The Milwaukee 2441-20 runs on the small M12 platform, and on paper 12 volts sounds like a step backward next to everything else here. It isn't. 400 pounds of continuous push handles every sealant a normal person will ever load, and it does it at 3.7 pounds total, which makes every other gun on this list feel like a brick. The speed range tops out at 28 inches per minute, deliberately slower than the heavy hitters, and that restraint is the whole point. When the bead is visible, when it's the line between a countertop and a backsplash that somebody stares at every morning, slow and controllable beats brute force every time. Battery efficiency is remarkable too, at roughly 150 standard tubes per charge. The auto-reverse anti-drip does introduce a fraction of a second delay when you pull the trigger again, which you'll notice if you're laying dozens of tiny adhesive dots, though for continuous beads, it's invisible. Compare it directly to the DeWalt and the trade is clear. Milwaukee gives you finesse and balance, DeWalt gives you raw grunt and a bigger battery ecosystem. If finesse is not on your list at all, the Makita XGC-01Z is waiting. 1,100 pounds of dispensing force, which is not a typo, and a 5-position dial that climbs to 66 inches per minute. That is fast enough to empty a standard tube in roughly the time it takes to read this sentence, so treat that dial with respect unless you enjoy redecorating your shoes. Autoglass installers, marine techs sealing hulls, and framers working in freezing weather reach for this one because it simply does not stall. The genuinely clever part is the overload indicator light. On a high thrust gun, if the nozzle is clogged or that foil seal is still sealed, the motor keeps pushing until the back of the cartridge bursts and floods the gearbox with raw adhesive, an expensive way to end a Tuesday. Makita's electronics sense that resistance and light a warning first, giving you the chance to stop and clear the blockage. At 5.1 pounds with a battery, it's the heaviest here, and it's overkill for interior latex, but for the nastiest materials in the coldest conditions, nothing else comes close. Coming back down to earth, the ProMaker 21V is the other full kit option, and it's a phenomenal package for the money. 550 pounds of push puts it level with the Craftsman on paper, but this arrives with 2 batteries, a charger, 3 nozzle adapters, 5 knife heads, a trowel, and a scraper. Those nozzle adapters are quietly brilliant. Standard caulk tubes are rigid and stubborn, and getting behind a faucet or around the base of a toilet with one is an exercise in creative geometry. The angled adapters let you aim material where the tube physically cannot go. Adjustable speed handles everything from thin silicone to thick polyurethane, and the LED covers dark corners. The housing and internals are built to a price, so this is a tool for light to medium duty rather than daily commercial punishment. But for a homeowner resealing a driveway expansion joint on Saturday and redoing a bathroom on Sunday, it's everything needed in one box. That leaves the Saker the lightest and most affordable entry point of the bunch. 4 adjustable speeds, an LED, an auto-retract rod to keep drips off your tile, 2 batteries, and basic finishing tools. It's built for occasional indoor jobs, touching up a backsplash, tidying the edge of a vanity, or running acrylic latex around interior trim before painting. It doesn't have the muscle for thick construction adhesive, so keep it on soft materials and it will serve you well. One habit worth adopting with any budget cordless tool and its generic charger: charge the packs while you're in the room on a hard surface and unplug them once they're full. Think of it as a convenient short-term helper rather than a lifetime investment, and it delivers exactly what it promises. So, where does that leave you? For the toughest materials, frozen adhesives and automotive urethanes, the Makita XG-C01Z and its 1,100 pounds is the only real answer. If you're already on the DeWalt platform and you want a modular workhorse that will grow into sausage packs, the DCE 560B is your tool. For visible finish work, tight spaces, and all-day comfort, the Milwaukee M12 is the best balanced gun here by a mile. Serious hobbyists and remodelers who want commercial specs at a low entry price should grab the Craftsman CMCE 600B. And if you want to open one box and start working immediately, the CZG N100P and the ProMaker both deliver, with the CZ's trigger lock being the standout comfort feature of the whole roundup. The Saker covers the light indoor touch-ups. All the links are in the description along with current pricing. Tell me in the comments which material gives you the most trouble, and I'll see you in the next one.